And I don't think you need me to tell you that it's not your fault if you have a mental illness. It's just the way the interplay of genetics and environment worked out for you. So it's bad enough you have a mental illness, but it's even worse if you feel bad about having the illness and the possibility, the very real possibility, that you might need treatment throughout your lifetime. I can't think of anything worse than that, actually. But yeah, it's not true. I can think of something far worse. What if the treatment that we provide for patients with persistent illness actually worsens their sense of internalized shame? And maybe you can't think of how treatment could make somebody feel worse about having a mental illness. So let me introduce you to Kara. Kara is the patient that opened my eyes to the fact that some of the ways we deliver treatment to those with persistent illness can worsen our patients' internalized sense of shame and feelings of failure. So Kara rolls up into the hospital parking lot alone in a decades-old Honda Civic. Her little old car had seen her through her undergraduate degree. It was currently bringing her back and forth to her nursing school clinicals. And now this car was bringing her into inpatient treatment for anorexia nervosa. It was her third treatment in her 27 years. Kara's first question on admission to the unit was, "Hey, will I be able to start my car every day?" As she hands over her car keys and a pair of pliers. She was embarrassed to admit that she had to open the hood of the car to start it, and start it with a pair of pliers. And she was even more ashamed that staff was going to have to go out with her like every other day to start this car. But she was really concerned, and rightfully so, that if the car sat in the parking lot too long while she was in the hospital, that she wasn't going to be able to get home, and she had driven quite far from out of state. So, I'm thinking, look at this kid. This is survival skills, man. Good planning, good survival. All right, so that was the first thing. Second thing out of her mouth came from a place of shame and self-deprecation, and she said, this is my third time in treatment already. I might be a failure. So listening more to Kara's story, I could hear a lot of resilience and perseverance. In short, Kara's mom died when she was 11, and she and her sister, who was of about the same age, banded together and supported one another through adolescence and through early adulthood. They had very few resources and very little support. Not coincidentally, Kara's eating disorder started after the death of her mother, so she was 11 years old. The more she talked, the more I struggled with, I want to take care of this kid. I was listening to her, but I also had like one eye fixed on the clouds out of the window. We were on the 5th story, and I was saying to myself, as I was kind of listening to her, okay, Robbie, you know you're falling hard. This dead mother story gets you every time. And I was thinking that's probably a flashback from childhood to Bambi or Heidi, where the mothers are gone and the child is bereft. Then I continued the argument, and it was, I know I'm falling, but look at her. Look at how awesome this beautiful little kid is. And then my brain screams, hey, hello. She's 27 years old. She's not a kid. And then I thought, but look at how hard she tries in spite of this crummy illness. And look at how much she's able to get for herself with so little to lean on. So I figured, you know what? Transference be damned. I need to listen to her, and I'm going to listen to my heart on this one, and screw it. I jumped in to partner with her in treatment, and I was in it up to my eyeballs. Look at all she'd accomplished in her life with the weight of an eating disorder on her tiny little back. And believe me when I tell you, yes, she was tiny. That was another thing that made me feel like she was a kid. She was physically tiny. She hadn't developed very much since her mother died. She hadn't really developed beyond her pre-adolescent size and shape. So why should this beautiful, determined kid feel like she's a failure because she hadn't gotten rid of her eating disorder during the first 2 treatments? And I started to wonder, do we set patients up to believe that if they follow our program perfectly, that they'll get rid of their anorexia forever? And if they don't get rid of it, that it's their fault, they did something wrong, they didn't follow the prescription exactly correctly? Is it even a possibility that every patient with anorexia nervosa is going to be able to walk away from their illness and never experience symptoms again? So my mind was really spinning at this point about how our accepted standard treatment for anorexia, especially the goal of discharge at 85% ideal body weight, might be adding an additional burden to this tiny little weary body. Never in this child's life had she been the size of an adult female, let alone 85% of that size. So why would we expect her to be able to do that now successfully? So again, I thought, you know what? Screw it again. Let's figure something else out that could work for this kid. What else could work? So the question in my mind became really obvious. Why can't we support our patients' attempts at perseverance with the same vigor that we devote to restoring weight and focusing on numbers? All right, so all this struggle going on in my head, it's good to have a team of colleagues that can kind of help you sort this out. So as a group, our first question became, all right, so who are we to challenge the accepted standard treatment for anorexia nervosa and do something different and not focus on weight restoration as heavily? So we thought, who are we? I mean, why not us? Why not us, since there's no real tried and true cures for severe and enduring anorexia? Again, if we know that, why can't our patients know that? Because the truth really is that we don't know everything, and our patients should be allowed to know that we don't know everything. So because of our realizations around CARA, we developed a new protocol for the treatment of severe and enduring anorexia. The new protocol is currently being tested against treatment as usual, the standard treatment, in an IRB-approved clinical trial. The study's now 3 years old, so I'm thinking CARA's probably 30, 31 years old by now. Our new protocol never abandons hope for recovery. We always hope that people can recover. However, we will not shame people if they don't remain asymptomatic after treatment. Does this new protocol work better than standard treatment? It's too soon to tell. Don't think it's worse, but there is one thing that we can tell you about our new protocol, and that's that our patients are less likely to avoid treatment because of shame, and they're more likely to come in for help before they're forced in because of the fact they're on death's doorstep. So at this point in my career, it seems to me that maybe it's okay to say screw it and let some patients get in under our skin sometimes. And yeah, CARA's card did start on discharge. And the word on the street is that she, and I don't know, maybe even her car, I don't know what happened to the car, but she did definitely graduate nursing school. And she got her nursing license almost 3 years to the day from the day she described herself as a failure to me. Somehow, wherever this kiddo is in her life's journey, I hope that she knows there's a treatment team in Princeton that's doing the happy dance. Thanks so much for listening to my story. I appreciate it.